Welcome back to Let's Trade Smart, and a warm welcome to everyone joining with our new weekly analysis video. I hope many of you watched last week's gold and silver analysis and were able to benefit from the levels we discussed. This week, we're starting with Bitcoin, because a lot of traders seem to be stuck in this market right now. Hopefully, this analysis can bring some clarity and confidence, so let's move toward the charts. If you look at the chart, you'll notice that after forming a major low in 2020, Bitcoin started a strong rally and eventually formed a double top in 2021, after which the price faced a strong rejection. Then in November 2022, Bitcoin formed another important low. From that point, the market slowly regained strength and began moving toward new highs. Eventually, in October 2025, Bitcoin printed a new all-time high around $126,000. But as we often see in the market, after such strong rallies, the price doesn't move up forever. A correction becomes necessary, and interestingly, if you observe both major rallies on the chart, there is a clear pattern. Each time Bitcoin swept the previous high, the market followed it with a healthy correction before continuing its journey. Now once again, after making the $126,000 high, Bitcoin has entered another healthy correction phase. If we apply the Fibonacci retracement, we can see that the 50% level has already been broken, which suggests that the price may move deeper into the OT zone, optimal trade entry zone. Many traders already understand the importance of OT zones. But if you're not familiar with it, let me know in the comments and I'll make a detailed video explaining OTE concepts. Now the interesting part comes here. Inside this OT zone, we can clearly see a demand area, which I've highlighted with a purple box on the chart. Based on this structure, there is a strong possibility that the price may continue dropping toward that zone. That area roughly falls between $39,000 and $40,000. And if the market reaches that demand zone, it could become the place where Bitcoin finds strength again, potentially preparing for the next move toward new highs. So for now, the story of the market is simple: a strong rally, a necessary correction, and a potential opportunity waiting inside the demand zone. Now let's take a look at something really interesting on the chart, and honestly, I believe when many of you see this, it might bring a little peace of mind, maybe even make some people a bit happier. If we look back at the previous rally, we applied the Fibonacci extension tool. And what's fascinating is that the price moved almost perfectly toward the 1.618 extension level before forming a new high. Now here comes the exciting part. If we apply the same Fibonacci extension to the current rally, and simply imagine that the next low forms inside our demand zone, the projection becomes very interesting. When we extend the move from that demand zone, the 1.618 extension level points toward a price around $218,000 to $220,000. Yes, you're seeing it right on the chart. This suggests that if the market follows a structure similar to the previous cycle, Bitcoin could potentially aim for a major new high near the $220,000 region in the future, and that would be an incredible move. So the bigger picture becomes very clear: first a healthy correction into the demand zone, then a strong recovery, and eventually, the possibility of Bitcoin exploring levels around $220,000. Markets move in cycles, and sometimes history leaves behind clues, and right now, the chart is hinting at something very powerful. So far, I think we have already covered the big picture and the long-term outlook for Bitcoin, but to understand the market a little better, let's zoom in and take a look at the weekly chart, because sometimes the weekly timeframe tells a very interesting story. One important thing every trader should remember is that charts always speak. And when we learn to listen carefully, the chart often gives us clues about the next possible move. Now, if we look closely at the weekly chart, we can see that Bitcoin formed a bearish CISD inside the purple shaded box. From that area, we applied our projection levels, and the chart is already respecting them quite clearly. As you can see, the price has already reached the -2.5 projection level, which comes around $59,000. However, there's something important here. So far, the market has not shown any strong signs of reversal. And when the market keeps moving without clear reversal signals, it usually means that the move may not be finished yet. According to the projections, the price could still continue lower toward the -4 and -4.5 levels. Now this creates a small conflict between the monthly and the weekly view. On the monthly chart, we discussed that Bitcoin's next potential low could form somewhere around $38,000 to $40,000. But if we strictly follow the weekly projection, there is a possibility that one more strong leg down could even push the price toward the $21,000 region, and this is where we need to understand how markets really work. When selling pressure increases, and large institutions are preparing to accumulate, they usually prefer the price to drop deeper. That way, they can enter the market at the cheapest possible levels before the next major move begins. But there's no reason to panic, because in the long run, the overall structure of Bitcoin still suggests a strong bullish future, and we can still expect the market to eventually move toward new all-time highs. At this point, I think we have covered Bitcoin from almost every possible angle. We looked at the long-term picture, the monthly structure, and the weekly analysis as well. I also checked the daily chart, and interestingly, it is telling the same story as the weekly time frame. That's why I didn't include it separately in this video. So from an investor's point of view, we've already done a deep and detailed analysis. But as I always say in my videos, a trader thinks differently. A trader doesn't worry too much about where the price will go in the next few months or years. A trader simply focuses on trading the market step by step. Most traders operate on the 4-hour chart, where they focus on key trading levels, market structure, and short-term opportunities. And that's where the real trading action happens. I hope you enjoyed this analysis and found the discussion helpful. If you liked the video, make sure to share your thoughts in the comments. And if there's any chart or market you'd like me to analyze in the next video, feel free to let me know. And of course, if you found this Bitcoin analysis useful, don't forget to like the video, share it with others, and subscribe to the channel so you never miss the next analysis. I'll see you in the next one.